Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim, and I'm with Gugabe. How are you doing, man? Are you surviving the quarantine? How is it in Australia anyway?
Honestly, we've been stuck inside, but it's barely done much over here. So, I
Yeah,
mean, obviously most of America's probably like that.
yeah.
But yeah, how's Chicago going?
It's not bad. It's pretty shut down. Like we actually are required to wear masks when we go outside. It's like the law now. So, I mean, you're not gonna get like arrested if you don't, but I think it's just to kind of keep people cautious.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we're starting to reopen because it's mostly passed over us. Jiu-jitsu, some people think it might be back in 2 months, which seems optimistic. But yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention to I feel like I was following the whole COVID-19 stuff like closely, but in the last week I feel like I've kind of just stopped paying attention to it because it's kind of the same shit. So and since it's good for the UFC to start back up, so we can kind of get our minds off it. But speaking of, I think yeah, you want to recap that card real quick? We can kind of just go quickly through
Yeah,
the
that works for me.
Alvey Span fight.
Yeah.
Span Stone Cold Lock at minus 400.
Yeah, I thought I had the right side of LVKO, but knowing he didn't get the finish that well.
Yeah.
Even Alvey winning round one was not outlandish. He literally doubled him up in volume, and standing arm triangle was nice, but Span then proceeded to do nothing else.
Yeah, one of those fights where I kind of felt like I thought the judges were going to give it to Span because even though you could conceivably give it to either guy, just because Span was at least attempting a submission and kind of moving forward in round one, but I don't necessarily agree he won round one. You know what I mean? I just thought the judges would give it to him, but kind of your classic split decision, I feel.
Yeah, I had the same view. I was sort of thinking, 60% chance that Span's got it. Span was an awful, awful bet here. But
Awful. Yeah.
I only had LVKO, so I didn't really care when the decision went to be honest. So I was just I was more frustrated at LV going for that stupid guillotine.
Yeah, it was you and I have kind of always kind of been very suspicious of Span because he just seems like he can't strike for prolonged periods. Like he seems super uncomfortable. Like he can throw like a powerful blitz, and then if he can't get that, then he kind of just dives for takedowns, and he's not even a very good grappler. So it's like I feel like anytime he doesn't get like an early finish or just knock someone unconscious or bully sub them, he's in like a serious trouble. And Alvey for what he is, he can stop takedowns. That's like the one thing he still has.
Yeah, he can stop takedowns, and if you come into him in the straight line, he'll punch you hard in the face.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he
He's
can
not gonna
win. Yeah,
he's not gonna proactively follow you or anything, but if you're gonna give him a clear target, he'll hit you.
for sure.
Best part
Mitchell.
was Span getting hit by the same punch 5 times in the first round.
Yeah, seriously. Um, Mitchell Rosa, I have a very different view on this fight than everyone seems to think that Mitchell's like Damian Maya now, but I have a very different view of this. I think it was more of Rosa just not being able to wrestle and getting stuck off his back because even though he's a black belt, like we've seen this happen to him before. And like grappling is a pretty consistent art fight to fight, and it was like 2 fights ago, Mitchell was out grappled by Bobby Moffett, and just like other guys who can wrestle, I feel like we'll be totally fine versus Mitchell. Like, they're just not gonna get taken down at will, and, I don't know, like, Brad Katona out wrestled Bryce Mitchell, I'm very I don't know. I'm gonna be looking forward to if he gets overvalued against somebody who can stop takedowns later. But I guess that's he still looked good, but I do think it was a little bit more to do with Rosa kind of being a bad wrestler.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I was expecting Rose's guard retention to be better, but again, yeah, I see either
Sure.
pass him a bunch, which is not a good sign. I had
Yeah.
to go to distance, which was the easiest bet over at minus 150. Like, there was never an instant of doubt.
See, like, obviously, you're noting sarcasm. I didn't think, like, none of the twisters were close. There was, like, an arm triangle or 2 that were kinda close, but that's really it, you know? It wasn't like, Mitchell couldn't really get that shoulder pressure up against, and I didn't even bet this, I'm just, like, saying my own view. He couldn't really get that shoulder pressure in the right spot on the angle on the arm triangle, you know? And then Rosa would just kinda, like, roll over and give up his back to avoid it. So, like, I actually think, like, it was value, minus 150. It might have seemed like the subs were close, but I think the commentators were going a little more nuts than they should have, but I don't know. I'm just kinda being, annoying about this fight. But I didn't even
Yeah.
have any money on it either, you know?
I felt the arm triangles I felt as one of those arm triangles was quite close.
There was, yeah,
Um,
for sure. The twisters weren't at all, though. It's
True,
like
but
yeah.
honestly, with Twister, like I've done them maybe once myself, so I'm I'm
Yeah.
not sure exactly what I'm looking at most of the time.
Yeah, so, like, essentially, it's a high school guillotine. Like, for folk style wrestling, like, what you would do to pin someone, you have to get both their shoulder blades down, and what you would do is you put a hook in, and you essentially put their arm around, your own neck, and then you, like, squeeze their head with your 2 hands, and the thing is, like, Rosa was controlling he kept, escaping, like, with his other leg, essentially. So, like, people were maybe looking towards the top, towards his head, because that's where Mitchell's actually applying the twister, but Rosa's leg, he kept giving himself leverage to spin out, you know? Like, that's how he was defending it, so he really wasn't that close, but, like, I'm not, like, an expert on this, but it is, like, a move I'm pretty competent in just because it comes from, like, wrestling, you know? Like, most it's kinda just like a modified catch wrestling move that people got from folk style wrestling, but it hasn't only, like, one other one been done. It was, like, Zombie, I think, Korean Zombie.
Yeah, Zombie Garcia.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, the second fight with Mitchell, I've kind of felt I've had to go distance, and him versus Moffat. I had the same sort of feeling there, where it was scrappy. There's a bunch of deep sub attempts, and I was like, I probably shouldn't have played GTD. But also, I was
Yeah.
thinking in terms of the twister thing, I see Mitchell. He just seems to love his twister. That's probably get bite him in the ass a lot if he goes up against better grapplers, because
Yeah.
like he could have taken the back with a lot of those twister attempts. Instead, he does this weird meme shit sub.
Yeah, I just think you can against, like, a good grappler, I like, especially with a wrestler base that like, Rosa could defend the sub, but he couldn't, like, turn it into an opportunity to reverse position just because he's not as good of a wrestler, but, yeah, just like you said, like, if he was trying that on, like, Moffat, for example, I think Moffat would've just got position, you know? Um,
Yeah,
but
could easily. Yeah, he's better off just putting hooks in a lot of the time, to be honest. So it's like, yeah, he could easily fuck himself in the future fight doing that.
I
Oh
just
well.
think Mitchell kinda got blessed with, like, 2 fights in a row where, like, the guys were really prone to getting wrestle fucked. Because I mean, we've seen that happen with Sales and Rosa before, and it kind of makes me feel dumb for not like, I mean, I didn't bet either fight, you know, but it kinda makes me feel dumb for not going in on Mitchell, but I do think that's a little hindsight. But it's like, we've seen Mitchell go against Tyler Diamond, Moffitt, and Katona, and he wasn't a dominant wrestler in those, you know? Like, he got out-wrestled in almost all those matchups, so, um, yeah. But,
Yeah,
Luque Price, that was kind of, um, that was fun for what it was.
it was fun. I think Luke is kind of he's lost. He just seems to have less of the ability to pull the trigger. Like I felt Price was winning minutes in that fight, just because Price seemed a lot more enthusiastic.
Yeah, yeah.
IDD battles got bailed out.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That was a
and in the
miracle.
Yankee fight.
Yeah, like I had a
Um,
few chunk round robins with the ITD in it because I was just like I needed to get more down through the limits, and I'd had you parlay it, and I was like, oh, Price Luke ITD, that's a easy tick of the box.
yeah, I mean, Luque looked more like minus 130 or 140, you know, honestly, like, um, Nico did a good job of just kinda, like, spamming volume, which is something he usually doesn't do, but, uh, yeah, that was a wild, wild fight.
Yeah, kind of my feeling. Luca's probably still a bit more technically savvy, but Price just kind of had him on enthusiasm for a lot of it. And
Yeah.
Luca kind of needed those, like, he probably, probably the biggest knockdowns, but like Price seemed to be doing more minute to minute, I guess.
Yeah, which is like you wouldn't have thought that. You thought that would have maybe been the opposite going in.
And
Um,
also, Price's chin looked better than it has historically. Like, Price has always kind of been a glass cannon.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, Esparza Waterson, weird fight. I bet Esparza, and it was kind of like Um, the thing is, the striking actually, like, I put in my write-up, like, I think people were just assuming Waterson would win the striking, and I actually, like, thought Esparza had a really good chance to win the striking, you know? And I thought it was pretty close, you know? I think I even the I mean, I guess I could be biased, but I thought Esparza won round 1 and 3, you know? But it was close, for sure.
Yeah, I felt round one was reasonable, and to be honest, after round two, I panicked and I pretty much walked off to go hedge. I was like wildly searching through accounts, finding ways to get on Waterson Live to hedge off my Esparza bet. So I didn't
Yeah.
even watch round three. I was just like, this is a split decision. I know this is a split decision. Fuck this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a split like, honestly, it could have like, no round was extremely clear. I did think Esparza I feel like the first round was essentially a stalemate, and then Esparza got, like, a 30-second takedown, so it's kinda, like, probably her, right? But, I mean, I could see she didn't really do much on top either, so I could see an argument for Waterson. Round 2 was kinda probably Waterson, and round 3, I don't know. It was just kinda weird, but I thought Esparza kinda fought dumb, but I mean, that's the thing, though, if you're betting Waterson, like, her win condition was always gonna be a split. Like, I feel like Esparza's never gonna get dominated in this fight, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
But
Also,
it
like,
yeah.
just mess.
Yeah, I mean, it was a mess, and I was kinda sweating my bet for sure, you know?
Yeah, love those. What was I thinking? As far as yeah, like Waterson, honestly, like she's got a few too many holes. Like even the boxing defense is kind of shoddy. As far as hands have improved over the years. Like she was betting Gaddafi on the fate for the most part.
Um, yeah, yeah, she out yeah, the thing is, like, I wrote in my write-up, she outdistanced Cynthia Calvillo, and, like, I think Cynthia, like, outstruck Courtney Casey over 3 rounds, like, she's not bad, you know? Um Like, I think she outstruck Calvillo and outstruck Gaudelia, and Waterson's only outdistance struck 1 fighter in her career. So it's like, I kinda thought, like, even if they got stuck on the feet, Esparza would be okay, you know? Like, I mean, I wouldn't say she would, like, dominate or anything, but she did outland Waterson in the total strikes, barely, but she did. But she won the head strike battle 34-15, and I think that's probably what gave her the nod, you know?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Um, but yeah, I mean, that was still a mess. I thought she would actively kinda wrestle a little more, but I think Waterson was moving laterally well, which kinda gave Esparza some issues. But, oh god, Verdum Oleinik, this was sad to watch for
Oh
Ver
come on, this was
oh, I'm
great.
just saying for Verdum, I was happy for Oleinik. I mean, I had Verdum in parlay, so I wasn't happy on that part. I like Oleinik though, but, I'm just saying Verdum looked bad.
Yeah, I had some we're doing. I hedged it with Atlantic KO, which it was plus 900, and I felt that was the best way to hedge it pre-fight.
Yeah.
Um, I'm happy for Atlantic. Like the way I kind of described this to somebody was, imagine if that one dude at your tennis court who just does drop shots beat old and fat Roger Federer, because that was kind of the dynamic.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, man, like for Doom, I mean, he was just, like, hanging out by the cage in the first round, just allowing, like, Oleinik to tee off, and he just, like, wasn't doing anything, and then he was in, like, extremely dominant positions where I feel like he could've just landed massive grounded pound, and then he went for, like, mounted arm bars, and, like, if you jump for an arm bar from mount, it's just such an unstable position, like, I feel like if you have mount or someone's back, you shouldn't do anything except a rear naked choke, you know? I
Yeah,
don't know. It was a ridiculous fight.
Like, I don't mind the Darius Dober, like, one where you're kind of falling off anyway, and like, all right, fuck it, I might as well take the 10% shot. But you
Yeah,
shouldn't be
that's
giving up
fine.
a solid back control or a solid mount
Yeah, like,
for.
if you're losing position, that's fine to throw up a submission, but if you have, like, extremely stable position, why would you go for an armbar?
Particularly when like I'm a heavyweight myself. It's
Yeah.
Doom has a good guard for a heavyweight, but you don't want to be on your back. If you're like a flyweight or something, I think you can like, explain it a little bit more, just because you probably got more capabilities to do stuff with a good guard position off that. But like where
Yeah.
Doom was tired, he wasn't doing shit off it. He wasn't getting a guard sub 9 minutes into that fight while he's exhausted.
Yeah, and if you go on your back, you also allow the other guy to have an option to just stand up. Like, I mean, you can control posture a little bit, but, like, not always, you know? And,
I mean, that guard Kimura is probably closest he came to an actual sub, wasn't it, from memory?
yeah, that was really close. I actually thought he was gonna tap him from there.
Yeah, same. It was, yeah,
Yeah.
like, look, yeah.
The arm bars, I didn't think he was really I was kinda like, like, I thought the Kimura was in, but, it was kind of but it is hilarious because like, Verdum it was such a strange fight because like, Verdum obviously dominated round 3 and got dominated round 1, you know, so it's like, those were easy to score, but, round 2, like, Verdum was up the first 3 minutes dominantly, and then he just kinda, like, gave away the last 2 minutes, you know? And it was like, if he just wouldn't have gone for that armbar and just held position, he would have won a very clear decision. You know? He would have got round 2 and 3 easily. It was like, he just gave away the fight. Um, Oleinik came in with, like, better cardio, I feel like, than normal, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's lost a bit of weight, and just some of it just seemed like mindset as well. Like, Atlantic still got tired, but it was like Nico Price. I wouldn't call Nico Price fit, but
Yeah.
he was body minded,
Good
and just
nuts,
having the willpower to keep going forward is worth a lot in that sort of exchange. Well, like,
for sure. Um, Cerrone Pettis, I thought this fight was actually pretty fun for what it was, you know? Um,
yeah, same. Yeah, it was good, decent fun. I felt Cerrone probably deserved the nod, but I'm not gonna say it was like an outlandish robbery.
it was pretty close. Like, I didn't have strong opinions on either side. I thought it was a close fight.
Yeah, I had small play. I had small play on Cerrone moneyline. Yeah, like my original take was I wouldn't play Pettis. I wouldn't play Pettis moneyline. I'd play him no scorecards instead, just because I couldn't see a situation where you confidently had Pettis decision. Like this
Yeah.
was kind of how Pettis would win a decision, where you're still thinking like going to the scorecards, there's a 60% chance Cerrone's won this. So like Pettis and no scorecards, Pettis moneyline paying the same thing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and even then, like Pettis kind of bailed out in round 3 of the punch that hurt Cerrone's eye. Like Cerrone won like maybe 80% of round 3. I remember feeling like.
I can't remember. For some reason, I'm, like, mixing up the rounds. I I just felt like Pettis was kinda landing some of the bigger shots, you know, even though, like, Cerrone was, like, winning. He'd be winning for, like, 45 seconds, and then there would be, like, a big shot for Pettis, and, like, Cerrone would be winning, like, 20 seconds, and there you know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
Pettis would land something big, so I thought it was, like I thought it was gonna be a split decision. When I heard 29-28, I actually thought Cerrone might get it, but, who knows?
yeah, I felt like kind of. I felt first 2 rounds are both kind of Cerrone 55-45. Third round was sort of Pettis 60-40, but even then, like Cerrone did finish the round better. So
Yeah,
you never know with the judges, but oh well, as it is. I'm actually
yeah,
curious what rounds actually were given which way. We'll check now.
yeah, I'm not sure.
We've got Pettis got a decent spread. You got round 1 on one scorecard and round 2 on the other 2 scorecards.
Yeah.
Surprised you universally got round 3. But, oh well. Again, like media's pretty split. Like, yeah, I lost on Cerrone, but I'm not going to act like it was some outlandish robbery.
Yeah, it was just a pretty close fight. Um, Hardy to Castro, I regret not playing Hardy, but I guess that's a little bit of hindsight, but I just I think Hardy's fine for what he is, you know? Like, he's gonna give you like, he's hard to hit, and he's gonna give you, like, decent cardio and length and just kinda, like, defense for a heavyweight, which is kinda rare, and he's athletic, but, I felt like DeCastro looked all right for the first round, but I think even just in his, like, regional fights, it looked like he probably couldn't go hard for 3 rounds, you know? And I feel like he kinda just lowered his output because he was afraid to get tired, you know? And Hardy just kinda cruised, right?
Much. Leg kick's obviously a big thing. Hardy's chin was also pretty solid. Like Castro hit him pretty hard a few times early.
Yeah, I've liked Hardy's chin since I've, like, seen it and just kind of his ability to evade, and he kinda just gets out of the pocket with athleticism, you know?
Yeah. Also, I don't think Hardy himself is that big a hitter, just based on the feelings I've had so far. Like he'll knock you out if you kind of go away, but I just don't think he's like up there in edge. I don't think he's like a big hitter for heavyweight. It's like a Volkov hitter, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's just kinda like he's kinda moderate, you know? Just kinda not maybe average, you know? Not a big hitter.
Yeah, not like hot take or anything, but like when I heard Hardy was coming in with Hardy's like athletic background, I kind of expected something a bit more freakish. Like he's clearly a good heavy athlete for heavyweight. He's well coordinated and all that, but he's not like blowing. I expected Ngannou sort of level shit.
No,
In just
and he's
terms of
yeah,
sheer,
he's not Ngannou. I wanna see that fight. I wanna see Ngannou Hardy because I honestly think, like I don't think Hardy will be that easy to put away, you know, or to catch, and I feel like Ngannou just kinda runs forward. I mean, we'll talk about it in a second, but I feel like Ngannou just kinda runs forward, like, with his hands down, with 0 technique, and just kinda, like, blitzes people with athleticism, and I feel like Hardy might be able to match his athleticism and be able to evade, you know, and kinda just, like, move. You know, like, Stipe just, like, moved his head and kinda survived, and I feel like I don't know, I feel like that fight could be interesting, you know? Um,
it's just a margin of error. Like Hardy would have to like unless you're getting proper takedown time in Ngannou, the margin for error on trying to evade him is just like he succeeds once, he wins. You succeed 20 times, you win. That's
true.
just it's
Yeah.
stupid. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. Cater and Steven, this was an awesome fight. I thought both guys looked good.
Yeah, Stevens. Stevens actually quite intelligent what he was doing. He immediately twigged on the leg kicks. He opened hard, well, worked the
Yeah.
body.
Cater
Yeah, I played.
Cater is pretty awesome when he gets his range down, you know? Like, he always kinda has, like, a rough round 1, but when he starts, like, landing, and gets his range, like, he punches hard too.
I also kind of felt Stevens forced him to start like really going for the finish.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like Ace kind of realized he had to keep Stevens honest through the sort of counter punching. Just because like Stevens was clearly not going to just be out. You couldn't just like pick and move Stevens the way he was fighting.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was a good fight.
yeah, and I feel like Stevens just kinda, like, went to the leg kicks early and kinda was, like, getting up on points where Cater knew, like, I gotta go too, you know? Like, I have to, like, start throwing my combinations now, but he, like, Cater hits dude, he hits hard, man, like, just, and it's, like, all technique, you know? Like, he just gets, like, a ton of torque behind his straight punches, but, it was a good fight, yeah, like, I think, um I like Cater, like, I think he's good. I think in a 5-rounder, he'll be tough to beat simply because he seems to have pretty awesome cardio, you know?
Yeah, we just
But in a 3-rounder, I do think, like, he could get off t you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he could maybe, like, get off to a kinda, like, lose the first round like he has before, you know, and just kinda, like, have, like, close split decision. That's the only thing I worry about having a striking primary skill set, you know?
yeah, true. It's hard to dominate without
Yeah.
grappling time.
Yeah.
I had Stevens moneyline and ends by KO. Like ends by KO was plus 170. And I was like, I'm pretty sure Stevens is going to force a fight here. And yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of expected to look like that. Where like I felt Stevens probably outperformed plus 220, just because like it was always going to be just the kind of carnage if Stevens did what he was going to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, ends by I think if it was remade inside the distance, probably like minus 150.
Yeah. Like, I think it just goes to show how, like, Cater has gone against some really good strikers and, like, really high volume strikers like Burgos and even, like, Zabit, and he's, like, always performed well. And I think it just goes to show, like, how good Moicano is 'cause dude, Moicano destroyed him, and, like and, it's hilarious that Zombie knocked out Moicano because I just think Moicano is like very good if he's not getting knocked out. Like he's going to be a very hard guy to beat over 3 rounds. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ngannou
Um,
Rosenstruck. This was ridiculous.
a technical masterclass. Um, there's just nothing that can be said about the Ngannou. What are you gonna say about it? It's like, as I said, this is either gonna be like a minute of craziness or it's gonna be 15 minutes of tedium. There was no middle ground.
Dude, he just ran forward and got hit with like 3 hooks himself and then just knocked out. It's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, you can't argue with results.
Did you see like the gif of like his hands just completely down? Like he was like it was like cowboy level shit. Oh my god.
What are you gonna do? Oh, it's just, what are you gonna do? Ngannou probably, for what he is, just has a understanding that he can afford to take a bomb and his opponent cannot. So it's just like he just rolls the dice, he wins on a 4, 5, or 6, and then loses on a 1. He just does it over and over. Like
Yeah.
it's just like, even like I don't think it's like there's really no equivalent in combat sports history, because even something like Wilder was actually like not an absolutely terrible boxer, and Wilder had to like land straight rights to get the power across. Ngannou just lands arm punches. It's stupid. It's an out of context problem for the sport.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I just feel like for Ngannou fights, I like don't even know how to like bet them, you know? Um
KO
like
one.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. But it's just like eventually someone's gonna survive that like first round. I mean, it's happened before, but yeah, like guessing that is not an easy thing to do though. It just is what it is. I'm just glad I like didn't play the fight, you know?
I I had some Rosenstock, and I chucked in a bunch of just like Nagano KO and into round 1 the last minute, because I was just like, I'm pretty sure if I'm gonna lose this bet, it's gonna be in the first or second.
Yeah, for sure. Um, okay, anyway, Cejudo Cruz. I like I I ended up passing on this fight, and I was kind of thinking Cruz had a really good chance to win, but like I want to give credit to Cejudo. Like he looked good, and he came out with a really smart game plan. I mean, I've never really seen him throw leg kicks, and he did it out of the gate.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, as I said, just consistent leg kicking would always kind of fail Dominic Cruz's style, but Cejudo hasn't really been leg kickers, so it's a question of whether he would use them or not. I did actually kind of like what Cruz was doing in the second round. Like, he seemed to understand that, like, it's hard for Cruz to do this, but he seemed to figure out he had to kind of start swinging in and trying to throw bombs. Like, yeah, I was being Dominic Cruz, it's hard to throw bombs, but, like, at least he was trying. The
Yeah, I think like
knockout,
the pressure more to get rid of the kicks, you know?
and even the knockout, I'm pretty sure that Cejudo throws a body kick and just kind of catches him, just because Cruz kind of wanders into it. But yeah, I can't say whether that was an intentional drop or that was an intentional strike or not. But oh well, it worked.
Yeah, it was
Um,
I would have liked to see that fight play out more because I do like I just even though Cejudo, I mean, if I could have never known Cejudo was gonna go to the legs, you know, because that's not what he does, and, he usually headhunts, so but I feel like he's always gonna have trouble, like, landing punches to the head, you know, on Cruz, but, you know, of course, he has his success with leg kicks and, like, a knee to the head. Like, so, I mean, but I would have liked to see it play out more, but Cejudo still looked really good. Like, I've been a critic of him, you know, but this was a legit performance, I thought.
I agree with that. Actually, I was
Yeah.
talking with some people about, say, Cejudo Mighty Mouse. That decision probably had a massive ripple effects on the UFC, more than like any other recent split decision. Because
Oh, yeah.
like, it's Askren to the UFC. Yeah, Askren Mighty Mouse probably doesn't happen. Flyweight's probably still doesn't get like fired. Um, Dillashaw probably doesn't go down. It's like there's a huge chain of events coming off that. Like, even Masvidal's probably not anywhere near as big a celebrity.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't have got Masvidal, Askren, and then, like, Cejudo, like, is now kinda, holding up 2 divisions and kinda making those interesting. Yeah, it's been kinda nuts, actually, the more you say that, yeah.
And like, it was just legitimately like it wasn't like even a moment one. It was just like it was just a tight split decision. Because I think there's not many others in UFC history which make that big a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. On to Gaethje vs Ferguson.
Yeah, this is one, like, yeah, like, it just, didn't go as I expected. Like, I thought Ferguson would just kinda maul him after 2 rounds, and, honestly, the first 2 rounds pretty much went how I expected, and then after that, it just went the total opposite, you know? I, uh, I thought the first 2 rounds would be pretty competitive, or, like, I thought both rounds were, like, pretty close. I think probably I gave Gaethje round 1. I think Gaethje was winning a bit of round 2, but Ferguson may have taken it with that last exchange, and I thought Ferguson was kind of starting to, like, land more as round 2 went, and then I thought he would just continue to do that, and then Gaethje just kinda stayed patient for, like, the entire fight, didn't gas, and just kinda beat the fuck out of Ferguson. I did not expect this at all.
I'm like, so I was expecting Ferguson to take over.
Yeah.
Also, in like early rounds, Ferguson was moving with the punches okay for the first two. Like, if I saw if we watched it today, and I was thinking, Ferguson's taking a lot of the sting off the punches in the first 2 rounds, and then just in say about third round, he just slows down that extra bit and just starts getting teed off on. Even then,
Yeah.
he doubled Gage's output in both round 3 and round 4, just pure like strikes attempted.
Yeah. Yeah,
Push.
it was kinda like a thing is that I was really, really shocked at. Um, the main reason I, like, really wanted to bet Ferguson here is Gaethje got outlanded to the head, and I mean, I know he, like, changed his style a little bit, but, like, I think to get this drastic results over 5 rounds is still kinda nuts, but I mean, it happened, right? Um, but against Eddie Alvarez, he got outlanded to the head 113 to 69, and then against Poirier, he got outlanded to the head, um, what was it? 142 to 56, and then, like so, like, you look at that, like, it looks like he's not good, with, like, head strike ratios in general, and Ferguson's like a head strike ratio god, you know? And then he out and I thought that would be the reason why Ferguson just kinda, like, mauled him and he would kinda take over, but then Gaethje outlanded Ferguson to the head 100 to 64 in this fight, which is nuts. Like, I mean, that's such a drastic kind of, like, change from what you would kinda project based on their past results, but, I mean, Gaethje just looked really good, he looked improved.
Yeah. Also, I was kind of surprised Ferguson didn't use the push kicks consistently because I felt like Gage's still got a massive body defense vulnerability.
Yeah.
And also like even the clinch work and sort of wrestling and all that, like Ferguson didn't necessarily have to get him down, but just forcing Gage to wrestle would have been
Yeah.
given him more ability to like use his cardio, I guess.
Yeah, I was just shocked Gaethje just stayed evasive and patient too, you know? Like, I thought, like, maybe he would start brawling at some point, and he just kinda didn't, but, it wasn't even
Yeah,
a low pace either, and Gaethje just still stayed fine, you know?
yeah, like he's 9 years in and he's kind of redesigned his style, which is was impressive to say, but it's just hard to really reliably expect.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, but,
yeah,
yeah,
not many
I
people.
mean, I didn't expect it at all, and it just kinda is what it is, like, he kinda just fucked him up, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much.
but,
Also, it's kind of amazing when you win the attritional battle with head strikes against body strikes. Like, kind of
yeah,
reminded me of like Zhang versus Joanna in that respect. It was
yeah.
just like, Ted Ferguson doubled him up on body strikes and that sort of stuff, but like just the sheer damage of the head strikes added up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good
onto
fight though, but yeah, I was it was one of those fights where fights you kinda get wrong, but you're like, "Oh, someone just hit their win condition." Like, I don't know, like, I thought Verdum was gonna dominate Oleinik, but it was just kinda like Verdum did dumb shit and kinda just showed up old because it's been 2 years. It's like, okay, like, I get it, you know? And like Oleinik just kinda winged hooks. Where I'm like, "Okay, I could see that happening." Where, like, I never even thought this was a possibility of like like I thought Gaethje could always knock him out early, and I thought he could keep the early rounds competitive, but I did not expect him to just kind of fuck him up in the last few rounds. It was like not even something I really considered, but it is what it is. Sometimes that's why the sport's kind of nuts.
Yeah,
Um,
particularly the cardio dynamic was pretty well established across both their careers. Like Ferguson's pace is historically sort of legendary, and Gage's kind of still broad. Like,
yeah,
Gage was visibly tired, and every other time he's gone deep.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, happens sometimes, I guess.
yeah, for sure. Um, First fight, I this is so let's go to the Wednesday card, which is in 2 days, which is kind of nuts. But Villanueva and Sherman, I have not taped this yet. But this seems like right up your alley. What do you think?
Uh, I got on Sherman like minus 110-ish before like he started getting pushed down. Villanueva, I've watched 5 fights of his. I'm not sure what he's good at. He just kind of has slow paced kickbox matches and knocks his 4 and 8 opponents out eventually. But like he doesn't really have visible explosive power or anything. He's fought at middleweight originally. Was kind of soft at middleweight. Fought at light heavyweight. Was very soft at light heavyweight. I think Sherman's going to be a lot bigger in the cage. Like Sherman could have 30, 40 pounds of leg muscle on him.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like Sherman has great output for heavyweight. Is classically tough. I don't think Villanueva can check leg kicks. And yeah, Villanueva's kind of KO or bust, and nothing I saw in Villanueva's point him out to me as like having a massive KO ability. He's been getting knockouts lately, but a lot of that's just kind of fighting absolute trash.
yeah. I'll have to tape. I really don't have anything to add on it now. But so you're kind of saying just like Sherman probably decide KO or bust for the other guy.
Pretty much. Like Sherman puts out 150 odd strikes a fight when over 15 minutes for
Yeah,
heavyweight, which is
yeah,
yeah. I mean, 150 strikes heavyweight is like 10,000 at flyweight.
yeah. Yeah. Um,
Like and generally, I felt Sherman. Yeah, even like he didn't have the best original UFC run, but he was in close fights as a big underdog for the most part.
yeah,
Like him against Willis, he was reasonably competitive. Him against him against Walter Harris. He generally hung into the close fights, and I just can't see Villanueva building out the tempo. The leg kicks are pretty strong, and I'm just not sure what Villanueva is supposed to be good at.
yeah. Fair enough. Okay, to a fight that I kind of know about. Azure and Kelleher. I think Azure should have win personally, but I'm not like minus 175 is just like probably a little too steep. Um, like I would be interested in betting Azure if the line closed, but I think like right now it's kind of just a pass. But I think Azure is actually pretty good. And I just think Kelleher's super hittable. And like Kelleher, I don't know, he's like enthusiastic and whatnot, but I don't think he's gonna. I mean, I don't think he can consistently wrestle Azure, and I don't think he can win the striking on the feet. But um, Azure does have a dumb tendency to kind of get like pummeled up against the cage and just like sits there and cage pushed, and I could see Kelleher having success with that. But like I think Azure is just way harder to hit on the feet than Kelleher. That's kind of like the main thing I was saying. And Kelleher has only outlanded someone at distance one time in his career, and that was Damian Stasiak, who's never outdistanced anyone in his career. And even like Kelleher was getting outdistanced by Barao until Barao gassed, like he always does. And Barao actually was still up in the totals. Um, but yeah, like I don't know. What do you think?
I like to go distance. I got
Yeah,
minus
yeah,
one.
agreed. Yeah,
I got minus 160, which I like. Kelleher's classically tough. Azure is good enough grappler not to get like meme subbed, I'd imagine. He's good enough
yeah.
wrestler to stay up.
I think they're both
Um,
pretty competent on the mat to where it will probably just be a wash. And I don't think like either of them are particularly chinny. Azure seems durable too.
yeah, like I feel Kelleher's a bit more proven just because he's had the crap kicked out of him a few more times. But yeah, like Azure doesn't seem chinny. Kelleher's a bit submission before position, which also gives Azure probably an extra string to his bow and grappling exchanges that Kelleher will just randomly give up top position.
Yeah.
Like I played Kelleher over Ode Osborne, and even then I was kind of pissed that he immediately jumped that guillotine.
Yeah.
Like it worked, but you got to take down. You essentially moved them out, and you just jump a guillotine. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, the thing with Azure, it's kind of strange because he's only had like 2 fights that I think are even relevant to tape, because like everything else is kind of like, and he's raw too. I do think like if someone improves in this matchup, I think Kelleher kind of is a finished product where I'm not gonna like rely like I'm not playing Azure, but like if his line got to like -130, I would maybe think about it. But if it was there, at least you kind of have that feather in your cap to where I feel like Azure has just kind of like improved fight to fight, where and he's still young and raw and athletic, so he can maybe get better. Um, and where Kelleher probably doesn't have that. But the thing about Azure in his last 2 fights, a contender series and against Katona, he fought both of those fights very differently. Like he threw like 20 something damaging leg kicks against that Okan guy, and he attempted 11 takedowns and got 4. Where against Katona, he didn't really attempt any takedowns, and even though he landed some leg kicks, he didn't like throw as many. So it was kind of like I don't know, like a takedown heavy attack, I would feel like, and leg kicks in the first fight. Then the second fight, he was throwing like more like hands. So it was kind of like a different performance, which is always kind of strange.
Yeah, I agree with that. Kelleher's just generally usually a tough out for people. Like
Sure.
again,
Yeah.
he doesn't go away. Like
Yeah.
he just comes at you, which is it pays dividends over your career. If
Yeah. Like
Azure just kind of gassed or just kind of got drawn into a stupid split decision, wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's why like I don't like Azure at -175. Like I think he's going to win, but I like that's still winning like 63% of the time or something implied probability, which is still pretty heavy. Um
Particularly when
and
you've got to see it as like a 70% or whatever to play it, kind of. So yeah, it makes it more.
Exactly. And like Kelleher at least is going to do shit. Like Kelleher's not just gonna like stand there and do nothing. Like he's going to come forward and try to land offense. So no, I hear you. Moving on to a fight that I know you're tweeting about and going nuts about, and I need to research a little more, but I'm agreeing with you based on just like before research. Morales and Benitez. Um, I just I don't. It's hard because like actually I'll let you take the lead. Go ahead because I know you like.
It's possible Morales has more than he's shown on tape. So he's only really, I've only really got 4 fights of real tape. One of them's in 2012, and it's just like him randomly guillotining some dude in Latin American regionals.
Yeah.
But like against Ma, he was really low volume. Against Park, he was both low volume and kind of low urgency. Like Park was just walking at him, absorbing leg kicks, and still cage pushed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ma, Dong Hyun Ma was essentially a corpse at that point in his career. It still is. And he didn't really show much urgency against Ma, and even in striking, he kind of had a fairly competitive striking match with Ma for what it was, and then spent sort of like he got the takedown round 1 off the off a court kick and just hung out on top of Ma for 2 minutes, and then got knocked down, hung out on top of Ma again for 2 minutes. It wasn't like he was showing any elite grappling. Like he's
He only
capable of
outdistanced
half guard if you suck.
he only outdistanced Ma 20 to 15, which isn't and Ma's like very, very bad. Like there's a reason why I threw Holtzman in like 40 parlays against Ma. But yeah,
Ma
like
was good when he had a chin, but now he doesn't. He no longer has the chin. Like, it's just Ma is not in the. I don't rate either of Morales' wins so far until the real fights. Even his Bellator one was kind of just a gay striking match. He landed a head kick in. Like
I
it's
don't
50
think
seconds.
Ma's UFC level for lightweight at all.
Yeah, like it's possible he is. Like he's training out of Hard Knocks and all that. Like I'm not saying he's 100% not, because again we haven't seen enough to really say
I'm
he's.
talking about Ma. I'm talking about Ma.
Oh yeah, Ma's fucked.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he was kind of action fighter.
And like I mean I got to see more. Like he's like fun, but he's not UFC level. Like Morales, it's kind of just he's a little unproven. Like we really don't know.
Yeah, but like what I've seen, I haven't really been that encouraged by. Benitez, on the other hand, I feel like he's kind of fringe top 20 flyweight in my eyes. I felt he probably wins that Yusuf matchup more often than he loses it, just on the balance. He's quite high volume. He's classically had issues with wrestling, but nothing in Morales really indicates to me that he'll take advantage of wrestling. Because it's like he's a kickboxer by trade. He's never gone for an offensive takedown apart from the kick catch, and Park literally just pushed him up against the fence.
Yeah, I gotta.
Park was
The
cage
thing is,
pushing him purely on enthusiasm. Park at certain points in that fight was walking at him. We're not even talking like fight walk. We're talking like walking, like strolling down the street, walking at him.
yeah, like what I have to look at here is like how often does Morales grapple, and is Benitez like susceptible to grappling? Because like I just don't like I have to look. Like I remember the Barcelona fight. I just haven't. I've dived deep into like 8 of these fights, and this is one of the 3 I still have to get into, along with that heavyweight fight. But it's like Benitez on the feet is pretty awesome. He has 71% striking defense, which is elite. Like most there's only a couple fighters who are even there, you know? And I know, like, you have to adjust for quality of competition, but, like, I mean, he's fought some pretty good fighters, like, you know, like, better than Morales for sure. Um, and he also lands like, his striking ratio is good too. Like, he lands 4.32 significant strikes per minute and absorbs 2.93. So it's like if Morales gets forced just into a kickboxing fight, it's going to be tough just being minus 180 against like anyone being minus 180 against Benitez if it's going to be a kickboxing fight is kind of tough to be, you know. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say unequivocally that Morales can't grapple, but we literally haven't. I have no tape of him doing offensive takedowns. There's as far as I can tell, there is no tape of it. So it's just and I'm guessing based on his background being kickboxing that he's probably not secretly a D1 wrestler. I'm just it is possible, but yeah.
And from South America, so like he probably can't wrestle. There's only like 3 people on that continent who can wrestle well. But
Yeah, Barzola was the only person on the continent. Barzola was the only person below Brazil who can wrestle.
yeah, there's some Brazilians they kind of like learned it, and then the only other person I know is Barzola.
Yep,
I'm trying to think.
Johnny
I literally can't think of anyone else who can.
Yeah, and Benitez has struggled with volume wrestling, but it's going from literally never hitting a takedown in your life to being Enrique Barzola is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah,
Again, it's possible that Morales a bit bigger, so maybe he could turn to a pressure wrestling performance. But again, there's no proof. I have no idea. And even in the striking match, Morales seemed pretty hittable and pretty low volume, from what I could say. He beat Park just because Park couldn't check half kicks.
yeah,
Park just did not have that skill set, and I'm pretty sure Benitez can. Oh, Benitez throws his own leg kicks. Even Yusuf stopped calf kicking Morales in the last fight because he was losing the leg kick battle straight up.
yeah. I just need to like research it more. But like, I mean, I remember both guys. I kind of like refresh my memory on the Ma fight because like I just kind of remember it just being Ma not doing anything and Morales kind of like getting some takedown. Like he got like a takedown at a time, but like Ma's not a very good grappler, and and then I kind of just remember that Park guy not being very good, you know? And, like, I know Benitez, so I don't know. I just have to tape it a little more. I didn't know Morales is old.
Yeah, he's been around. His first fight was 2010 or something. Oh, no, it was 2000. Let me just check again. I remember I was looking at it. There's an inexplicable 6-year gap in his career where he does nothing.
He's 35 years old.
His first MMA fight was 2011, which is he's apparently a kickboxer, but all his kickboxing footage seems to be, just based on YouTube upload dates, seems to be 2012, before that. So it just seems like a 6-year gap in his career where he doesn't seem to be doing much. But, who knows? Probably got a real job, but as
Yeah.
you do. But, again, I feel like people are giving him a lot of credit for the South American nowhere kickboxing credential, which, historically, those have kind of usually meant nothing. because
Yeah.
this is in like kickboxing, and this is some weird like karate variant. Yeah, again, I'm not saying he could be Leo Temujeda. I'm not saying he's not, but I think I'm happy to find out a plus 162.
Yeah, especially against like a proven fighter, you know.
Yeah, Benitez kind of probably unlucky, but everybody's lost to featherweights been the same. Is sort of ranked level featherweights, and he's had close fights with a few of them. Like, it's all legit losses.
and he's absolutely like fucked up everyone else, you know. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm excited to look into this fight a little more. Definitely. Eubanks, Moras. Eubanks should dominate. Moras will kind of just have to get takedowns and hope Eubanks tires out. You know, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't mind Eubanks' submission for a small stab. Like, again, she's got this supposed insane grappling. Yeah, she's had success. Moras is easy to take down. I'll take a roll of the dice at plus 620. But yeah, otherwise, that's the price is about right. Like, yeah, Eubanks dominated Roxanne grappling wise, and Moras is no Roxanne.
Yeah, Moras. It's weird. Like Moras, like if you kind of like dive deeper into her fights, she kind of just goes for takedowns and like um even though she doesn't have a lot of takedowns, if you include her Ultimate Fighter fights, that's kind of what she likes to do. But she's never outdistanced, I think, anyone in her career. Like, yeah, I mean, if this stays on the feet, this is a mismatch, and then Eubanks will probably be, you know, um, pretty dominant if she gets top position too.
Yeah, like I just can't see like maybe Moras somehow pulls enough of a Kelleher sort of situation.
I,
But
I think Eubanks will have to gas and Moras will have to get top position to win. I think that's gonna, which is like possible, but probably not gonna happen. You know?
and she'd need like 2 solid rounds of it as well. Like she's
Yeah,
probably not finishing
yeah,
from top position, and like and it's not like she can just instantly sub her or something like that.
yeah. No, I don't think she can sub her. I do think Moras is heavier on top, like a little better on top position than people may give her credit for. But Eubanks is still just like way better everywhere else, and Eubanks still like survived Aspen Ladd, who's heavier on top. You know? Um, and like still reverse position once she got taken down. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm about right. So I don't mind a small stab at sub. Like, it's possible submission looks like a hindsight like plus 200, but again, you never know of these sorts of things.
Yeah, and Eubanks also has never been outlanded in her career, even in all her losses, which I know you're not gonna like because one of them was against Lad, but,
That should have been a
yeah,
draw.
yeah.
She got knocked down in round 1, and then she got 10-8 in round 2. Like, I'm not saying she won that fight, but I felt it was a fair draw.
I rewatched it and I agreed with the draw for sure.
Like,
Like,
yeah, round 1 she
I
finished
thought
with
she
a
won 2
knockdown.
rounds.
Yeah, round 1 she finished with a knockdown, which classically judges tend to like. Round 2 she gets annihilated, so I'm not denying that. Round 3 she wins a striking pretty clearly.
Yeah. Moises and Johnson,
This is
bad,
the line that Johnson deserves.
yeah,
Uh, Again, there's a few cards fights in this card. I'm just playing a submission props, so I'm playing Moises submission small at plus 450. Moises
yeah,
can grapple. Like, he got owned by Dariush and by Ismagulov in the grappling, but like, there's no real shame in those two, in my opinion.
yeah,
And
they're both legit.
Johnson made Darren Elkins look like Demian Maia, and also made Stevie Ray look like Demian Maia.
I played Elkins in that fight as a huge dog. I was just like, he's gonna eventually get a takedown and he's gonna just finish him.
Yeah, I was pretty big on Johnson. Yeah, that was an interesting fight. I know I got what I deserve for doubting Elkins.
Oh yeah, I mean, I mean, the line was obviously everything there, you know. But yeah, it's just like MJ's got real good like first layer takedown defense, but if you get him down, he's in a lot of trouble, you know.
Yeah, it's the way I saw it back in the day. Was just like Elkins is getting hit very, very hard in the face a lot, which he did for the first 5 minutes. Like,
Oh
not
yeah, I
just
mean,
being off.
MJ almost hit his win condition. It's just if Elkins is still there, you know, 10 minutes later, like shit's gonna get scary, you know.
Particularly the way it took Elkins like legitimately like 30 seconds to get a tap, and I was just like, yeah, Johnson, like Elkins. How long did it take Khabib to tap Johnson?
Um, a while, yeah.
Exactly. Elkins is a better grappler than Khabib. He just held back by his lack of athleticism.
Yeah, like, I mean, I got Elkins at, like, plus 160, kinda, like, towards later, in the week. Like, it was a while ago, but I originally was just like, "I'm gonna pass," and then he became such a big dog, and I was like, I'm taking a swing." But, anyway, yeah, this fight, I don't know, like, it's kinda just, like, whether or not Moises can kinda get takedowns. I mean, his
Moises isn't awful on the feet. Like, Johnson should be better, but, like, I don't think Moises isn't getting totally, like, isn't, like, totally takedown
Agreed.
fast.
Agreed. I agree with that, yeah, for sure.
Like, I like Moises as a prospect. Like, he's lost to 2 top 20 lightweights when they got shut out by both of them, but, yeah, Moises is solid. Like,
Yeah.
I take Moises. There's a bunch of guys I take Moises over, and, like, around the sort of around the area of lightweight, just lightweight. Like, he's a solid mid-tier lightweight, and I think he's got strong potential. So, I'm not playing money line at this point because Johnson's kind of such a head case. I'm pretty sure if Moises win condition will be a sub because he'll get some. Johnson will start going backwards and panic and just get rear naked choked.
Yeah.
But I like Moises a lot. Even like money line minus 110 is honestly it's a little bit tempting. Now I'm thinking about it in a bit more depth.
Yeah. Um, yeah. It's interesting. Like, I mean, I could see I could really see either guy winning. Ah, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Johnson is, like, kinda hard to get down. Once he gets down, he's fucked, but, like, I'd probably give him an edge on the feet, but like you said, it's not by a mile. So, I kinda just, like, see arguments for both guys, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Um,
Yeah,
I
it's
might
kind
have
of
to
like
look into it a little more, yeah.
it's kind of like just a gut feeling. It's like I'd rate Johnson minus 200 in the boxing match, but it's like minus 8,000 Moises in the grappling match.
Yeah.
So it's I've heard Johnson's been tapped by some absolute scrubs, like just in training.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, the Yeah, I think that's all we need to say really about this fight. But yeah, Johnson's not a very good grappler on the mat. And
So
then
tragic
Felipe,
heavyweights.
Felipe Lins Arlovski. Uh, I think this is going to be a competitive fight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a competitive, kind of scrappy decision. That's kind of my
Yeah,
gut feeling.
pretty much.
Like,
Yep.
Linz doesn't really come forward that much. Arlovski, again, I'm kind of in the school that Arlovski's chin's underrated in a lot of ways. Like, he tends to get
Agreed.
bombed out. He doesn't tend to go out for jabs. And, like,
Yeah.
Linz is kind of picking on some very bad competition. Like, I was talking to somebody who even accused, like, if you watched Linz versus the guy who got that guillotine on Alenka,
Yeah.
and, like, apparently they're training buddies, and there's a belief that he might have taken the dive. Because it
Yeah.
was the first fight of the tournament thing.
PFL. Yeah. It looked
Yeah,
pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 fights in one night. Like, this guy was pretty confident that Alenka took a dive, which wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. No, it's just
Yeah.
it's like Arlovski. It's kind of tough though, because like I mean Arlovski should have beat Sakai, and I think Sakai's like, can you really put Lins much higher than Sakai? I don't think so. Like they're probably in the similar tiers, right?
Yeah,
Um,
obviously they fight pretty similarly. Like, they're both kind of vaguely karate based, and I think Sakai's got a bit more upside in terms of durability and athleticism. Like,
yeah,
Linz is
and then
probably a bit more polished than Sakai, but also has a bit more, just a bit less athletic.
Arlovski also outlanded Walt Harris 40. I forget exactly what it was. I think it was like 45-25. Like Harris landed a few big shots, but like, yeah, I mean, they're both kind of volume guys, and Andre can definitely outvolume you. I still Andre's had like obviously a few bad performances too. But like he's fully capable of winning this fight as well, and we don't know that much about Lens, right? Um,
Yeah.
I
And
think
like,
it's Arlovski or pass personally.
yeah, that's my perspective. I think go distance will have some solid value at plus 130. I'd cap it as a favourite.
I'd
Like,
count him as a favorite too. Yeah.
yeah, Linz kind of doesn't move forward. I don't think he hits particularly hard. Like, he's heavyweight. Everybody hits kind of hard, but he doesn't have like
power.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a scrappy split decision more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably rather have GTD at plus 130 than Arlovski at plus 130 at the moment.
Yeah.
I think
I'm probably passing here, but I don't think Linz is a good play,
Yeah, I also took some Linz by decision at plus 550 from the early line. I was like, yeah, I'll take that. I think Arlovski probably wins the decision with a fair clip, but it's plus 550 for what should be a coin flip decision.
For sure.
And even if Arlovski rocks up like he did against Rothwell, I think he takes this pretty convincingly. Arlovski against Rothwell, against Arlovski against Sakai or Rothwell, I think takes this pretty convincingly. He dominated Sakai in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Apart from scorecards.
No, definitely. I think it's just weird because when you just look at win-loss record, it's like, yeah, Arlovski's lost a lot, but if you really look at his last 4 fights, hold on.
He just got jabbed by Rosenstock and died, which is it's a thing, but
whatever. It just is what it is, and that's like 1 of 5 fights he showed a bad chin in, right? Like every other fight he's been fine, and then he murdered Rothwell. He should have beat Sakai, and he outlanded Harris in a split decision. It's like he could be 3-1 in his last 4 fights, and it's like I know he ends up being like 1-3, but it's just he's probably undervalued here, I guess is what I'm trying to say, just because of what one random judge said in 2 fights, right?
As somebody who's bet on Arlovski a lot, I'm very aware of this fact. Arlovski's probably value-wise being one of the best bets in the sport in the last 3 years.
I know, but he's paid off wrong, and
he's actually about broken even, honestly. Just because he's been such a big dog. I max bet him against Albany at plus 350.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people
who's not very good.
People say when do you brag about winners? And it's like I did not even bet on Arlovski in any of these fights, but I can tell you that I side with the people who played him, as a big dog in some of these fights over getting lucky and getting the monster favorite in a split decision,
Yeah, pretty much. It's Arlovski's just still fairly competent. He's kind of the ranked heavyweight gatekeeper. Linz, I don't even mind Linz's style. I do think he's fairly technical for heavyweight, but he also lacks that kind of insane heavyweight athleticism.
Yeah,
need to go somewhere. Linz is the kind of guy who gets knocked out by Derek Lewis after dominating for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that's just where he is in society. If Linz beats Arlovski, he'll just inherit the Arlovski title.
Yeah. This is a pretty good card for just a Wednesday. Just kind of looking at it, there's a few good matchups. And moving on to one, Vettori Roberson. I think Vettori should take this. I think the kickboxing is pretty close, and Vettori definitely is the better grappler. Will he go to that? Your guess is as good as mine, but the fact that he could go to it, it has to be factored in the percentages, and that's why he should be a favorite, in my opinion.
Yeah, pretty much. Striking wise, again, I'd lean Roberson by a small margin on the feet and Vettori by a wide margin on the ground. I think Vettori's submission at plus 600-ish is still value.
Yeah.
Because Roberson's also part of how Roberson grapples is he seems to be. I'm trying to put this. He believes in his own grappling too much.
Yeah.
He's the sort of guy who'll go for subs and go for sweeps and then opens himself up to get eaten by Glover or equivalents.
Yeah, Vettori should be at an edge on the mat. I don't know if he'll take it there though, but on the feet, see, this is what I was kind of thinking. I think we can both agree it's competitive there. Either guy winning wouldn't be a surprise. But I was sort of favoring Vettori just because he's so active, And Roberson, even though he's not been outstruck at distance on the feet or anything, he's kind of low volume, but he also doesn't get hit at all. So it's kind of one of those things. If Vettori just comes at him with a lot of volume, will Roberson be able to keep up? Maybe, but maybe not, type of thing. So I really wasn't sure. I mean, I can't fault Roberson too much for only outlanding Marshman and Kopylov by like a small margin because he was like kind of winning. Well, not, I mean, at least against Marshman. Against Kopylov, it was actually split going into round 3. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if someone pushes the pace, can he keep up? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Was Kopylov Roberson split going into round 3? I remember that being a domination, just off the top of my head.
It was split. Yeah,
it was in Russia. It was in Russia, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, true. It was in Russia, but I looked up. Yes, it was. It was split going into round 3.
I remember his like I haven't done typing this recently, but I remember his leg was falling off, and like against Marshman, the stats got skewed by Roberson spending like 8 minutes on top. Like total strikes was 90-30. Even the 6 strikes.
Yeah, no. Roberson won that fight clean for sure. Against Kopylov, he was a little low volume, so essentially, like what was happening, they both were like super hesitant, and then Kopylov was actually doing better to the head for the most part. Like he was landing some good punches, and it was like reasonably competitive for 2 rounds. But Roberson started kind of like taking over with a lot of leg kicks. Like he landed like powerful leg kicks too. And then round 3 was like kind of the same, and then he randomly got a takedown and subbed him. But that's the thing is like Kopylov had success to the head. Like when he was actually throwing, he was landing, but he also kind of got chewed up. They're both southpaws too, and so is Vettori and Roberson. So I do think Roberson's going to go for that leg again. You know, like I think I just expect a pretty competitive kickboxing fight if it stays there. You know, because like Vettori competed with Israel on the feet, like even at distance. Like, and he even outdistanced Israel in the 3rd round. You know, so it's not like Vittori's in over his head in a kickboxing fight.
Yeah, great.
It'd be a good fight.
Yeah, should be good fun. I think Vettori, if he grapples, should dominate. If he doesn't, gets a bit more chaotic. But well.
Yeah. For sure.
Speaking of chaos, I think Borg versus Simon's going to be interesting. Like, I expect Simon to win, but like I think the striking is going to be some stupid striking exchanges in this fight.
Yeah, I think Simone's going to win, but it's funny like Borg is so like Borg's just incredible at like kind of just as I say that, money just came in on Borg. But Borg's just really good at kind of just like leeching himself onto you, you know? And but Simone has incredible takedown defense. Like it's gonna be very, very hard to just kind of like out physical him and kind of just like grind on him. You know what I mean? Like and the thing is Simone can land takedowns, I feel like anytime he really wants here. Because Borg, even though I like both guys, like I've like bet both guys historically, you know? But the thing about Borg is like he gets taken down pretty easily if you can actually do takedowns yourself, you know? And Simone can definitely do that. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what Simone decides to do, whether or not he just does a sprawl and brawl strategy or like a mix of both, or goes to takedowns, you know? Because I think he should go for takedowns to kind of get Borg off of him, kind of like he did to Yaya. And I tend to think Simone will win, but like the thing about Simone's kind of low volume on the feet. Even though he can crack hard, he doesn't like land a ton of strikes. But I mean, Borg doesn't either, right?
Yeah. I think I have this weird feeling it's going to end up looking like Yaya Simon, where it ends up being a sort of a shit fest on the feet, where they're both kind of like. And I think the issue of Borg is there's so little time of him on the feet to really get a feel for his kickboxing, I guess.
Yeah,
they're both pretty hittable. From what I feel from seeing in the past, but I think there's a good chance it ends up just being sort of sloppy wrestler hooks.
Yeah, I think Simone should just kind of like try to go for volume takedowns, like because he can land takedowns at will, in my opinion, in this matchup, and I think it will just like score, you know, like score. We're like, I don't know, I don't. If he goes for sprawl and brawl, it's just like I don't like really trust either guy's striking, and I probably lean Simone based on like power and athleticism, and just like I've kind of seen him there. I mean, he's still cracked with Font a little bit, you know. But yeah, who knows? Like, it's just Borg's usual win path is probably going to be tough to do, which is why I think he's going to lose. You know what I mean? Just because he's not just going to easily be able to go out grapple Simone.
Like, we could find out that Borg's striking is better than we really think it is, and you could see that could happen. But again, just based on what we actually know, I'm expecting Simon should have more control over where the fight takes place, and that should give him a bit more of an edge.
Yeah,
but I'm expecting a pretty chaotic sort of rough fight.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, here we go. I feel like this is the people's main event here. Dober Hernandez, take it away.
Alexander Hernandez is not very good at MMA, especially since his balls fell off during the Trinaldo fight. I think Hernandez to win this would have to come out like he did against OAM, where he was rabies frothing at the mouth aggression, and I don't think that guy necessarily exists as much as it used to. Just because he was so hesitant to crunch against Ronaldo. Yeah. And Dober has this ability to punch him very, very hard in the face, which I don't think Hernandez will enjoy.
Oh God, I knew this was gonna be fun. I take this really hard, actually, because I was obviously interested in the fight, but if Hernandez goes with if Hernandez doesn't, it's kind of tough because Hernandez attempted a high volume of takedowns against OAM, but against Trinaldo he only went for one, so it's kind of what's going to be his strategy. I tend to think he's going to go for takedowns because I think Dober is going to pressure him hard, because when does Dober ever take a back step? So yeah, but if Hernandez just strikes with him, I think he's going to get fucked up badly. But if he wrestles with him, that's what I was focusing on, because I tend to think he's going to try to go for takedowns. And what I was noticing is I think Dober has an edge on the feet. And the thing I was noticing with Hernandez is just from the takedown perspectives, he does a lot of he gets stuck in over-unders a lot. If you watch it versus OAM, and Dober is good there, at actually kind of turning you back against a cage and disengaging. But Hernandez can string together a decent double leg below the waist here and there. And I tend to think if Hernandez shoots 8 or 9 takedowns, he might get a few, but not a ton type of thing. And then on the mat, this is where I was really focusing on, Hernandez doesn't land any ground and pound, which is kind of, I don't know, you'd expect just kind of with his high aggression style at times that he would, but he just kind of holds position against OAM, and even on the regionals, he just kind of lays on you. And he doesn't pass either. He only passed 2 times against OAM on 4 different takedowns. And the thing about Dober is against Camacho and other guys, especially if they are in his guard, and because Hernandez doesn't pass that much, I think Dober does a good job at kind of pushing against the head and immediately springing back up. It's more so when you the times he was held down and kind of dominated and not even dominated that much, was against Dariush, and those are guys who actually pass and are dangerous as a submission grappler, which I don't think Hernandez is. So I think the fact that if Hernandez is landing takedowns, he may not even be landing any ground and pound, and I don't think he'll be passing guard much. So I think the offense will be limited on Hernandez. You know what I mean? And then I think Dober will have an output and just striking advantage to where he should probably win. Sorry that I went nuts, but yeah.
It's all good. The way I see it is just, I think Hernandez has to apply a level of aggression, the clinch and all that, to tire Dober out / get those sort of volume takedowns.
Yeah.
I can't see Hernandez just hitting flawless doubles or anything from distance. And Dober will punish him coming into, OAM didn't punish him because OAM doesn't like striking for some reason.
Yeah.
OAM still clipped him hard in that fight. And OAM just doesn't put up volume and tends not to sort of swing to the best of advantages. But I think Dober will put the fear of God into Hernandez. Hernandez can be discouraged. I think Cerrone and Trinaldo both can't demonstrate that quite hard.
Yeah, the straight punches of Cerrone really fucked Hernandez up too, and Dober has a really a really quick straight punch. Dober just lands too, and I feel he's just really improved too. So I think he should probably win, and I do like that.
I'm still kind of like undecided on the fight, but I'm gonna like look into it more. But I do think Dober is gonna win though. But another thing is if Dober, I like that even against Dariush, he was working back up, and Dariush was like falling off position. Like he lost position because Dober like successfully got up, but he just kind of like got an arm bar. And I don't think Hernandez is capable of. He's a wrestler. I doubt he can do arm bars. You know.
I'm sure he's like capable, but yeah, it's not really a.
It's not like a good. Yeah.
And even Dariush kind of had to bet. Yeah, that was kind of the emergency. Like, oh fuck, I'm falling off armbar.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I bet on Dariush against Dober, and I was not confident or happy about the result or that bet.
I did too, and I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, that
sure.
was.
Yeah,
that was almost very, very bad. Like, I had the under too, so I wasn't too mad, but still.
Yeah. I just think Dober's improved. You know, like he's not the same guy he was in like 2015, 2016. You know.
Yeah, again, I just feel like Hernandez is good, unless Hernandez can just somehow turn a takedown to an instant tap, which I don't think Hernandez is the sort of grappler who does that. I just think he's going to have to expose himself.
Yeah.
Trying to pressure Dober, and he's going to get punished enough that he's either going to stop coming forward or he's just going to fall down unconscious. And also, Dober can just, like, if he shoots low on Dober, his calves will just crush him.
Yeah.
Dober's calves and chin are insane.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how I'm not sure how they've formed into such a perfect form, but yeah, I'm hoping Dober wins the lightweight title as soon as possible.
Yeah, the thing is with like Dober is just like he's never been knocked out, and I don't think Hernandez is really like a submission grappler, so it's like he's kind of got to win a decision here, and he's going to face a lot of adversity if he needs to win a decision. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be some very sketchy spots for him.
Yeah, he's gonna get clipped hard at least once, and you know, judges can be all over the place, but I feel like they've been favouring striking over grappling lately.
Yeah, I do like that Dober he fights over unders well, and Hernandez it's like he would sit there versus OAM, and OAM would just kind of be an idiot and hang out like with the over unders against the cage, and then Hernandez would drop for a double, you know. So it's like I don't even think Hernandez will get as many of those opportunities because Dober like actually fights those underhooks like well. But is Dober bigger too? Like when I was like taping him, I have no idea if this even matters, but I just feel like Dober's like pretty like physical and huge. Wasn't he like a welterweight at some point?
I don't think he was, but like Camacho's kind of fluctuated between the two, and Dober hung out so size-wise with Camacho. And Hernandez, I don't think is that big a lightweight. Like he's athletic, but I think he could probably make featherweight if he really wanted to.
Yeah, like I have no idea if this. I'm just kind of like, you know, talking shit right now, but I don't know. Dober looks huge. Like I just whenever I was taping, I was like, I was surprised.
I think it's mostly his calves and his chin. He's got some interesting bodily some interesting proportions, I guess. His calves especially, that's insane. It's like Benson Henderson.
He's fought a couple. He's fought a couple welterweight fights. It looks like Dober, but yeah, like I mean, I have no idea if that matters or anything in the fight. But I was just trying to kind of measure the physicality, like, and who would win the position on the over unders and the clinch. And I just like noticed that Dober was a big dude. But yeah, who knows? But yeah, I tend to think Dober can win. I don't think like I could potentially see Hernandez grinding it out, but I think it's going to be tough. Like it's definitely going to be tough. OSP Rothwell, max bet on both sides and take the loss.
Yeah. You gotta pay for the privilege. You gotta pay the gambling gods to say to your children that I saw Rothwell versus OSP.
Like, there's no. I mean, I was just like, I've seen some like. I've had a few people DM me about this fight, and I was just like, "Fuck!" Like, I don't know. Like, I have no idea what's gonna happen. It's a mess.
Yeah, like I like playing messes, and I have no opinion. Like I just like I was gonna play Volante pretty big over Rothwell at plus 200. Like here, I have no opinion.
I mean, this is truly probably the last fight I would ever bet in my entire life. Like I was just like if like imagine like just trying to like convince yourself to play one side, and you're like, well, Rothwell's plus money, but then you're like, well, fuck. Like, did you see him versus Arlovski? And it's like, OSP, he's minus 140. Like, does he even do anything? You know, I don't know. Like, this is just who knows to me. Like, I guess OSP is like more athletic and stuff, but I don't have much to say about this.
Yeah, I agree totally. I just yeah, I would usually be right there in this trash, but no.
Oh, yeah. Usually I'm the one kind of like staying away from a fight like this, and you're like, yeah. And I mean, you're generally profitable on them, but you're the one trying to like make an argument for the underdog in this case. But I'm glad we're on the same page for once to stay the fuck away from this fight. But
Yeah, like Rothwell, I think Rothwell's looked worse. Like Rothwell against Arlovski, Rothwell against Struve looked terrible, but like Rothwell against Ivanov looked fine. And OSP's there. Like OSP's looked absolute dog shit lately.
at least Rothwell will like come forward. But yeah, like pass. I don't want to talk about this fight anymore. Speaking about another fight, I don't actually. I actually researched this fight and actually had more fun than I thought. But Glover Smith, I have a feeling you're on Glover here as a dog, right?
I'm taking a small roll of the dice on Glover. I'm sub. I could see him just getting right arm triangle consistently, but yeah, the 5 rounds gives Smith enough time to just kind of Smith on him. Like, I like Smith. He's a good dude. That was the mere fight. It's probably the happiest I've ever been during a UFC fight.
Yeah.
Like, the money wasn't even that big. It was just that call was just, it was a great moment. Like my prediction here is like Smith round 4. Like Smith will drop 2 rounds for no real reason, and then just randomly kill Glover in round 4.
Yeah.
Like, you'll probably be able to get Smith like plus 150 at some point, I'd guess. Like, Smith will do nothing for the first 10 minutes because that's how Smith rolls, and Glover will be like have some urgency and we'll get takedowns and kind of just like control them for a bit, and then like Smith will just rock up.
Yeah.
And Glover's head will fall off.
Yeah.
That's my prediction here. Like, I wouldn't touch money line. Like, I took a little bit of plus 160 money line on the Betfair exchange, but
Yeah.
even that was more just I was planning to trade it off more than actually wanting to hold into the close.
Yeah. I found like a lot of interesting like. I think that the reason why this fight's kind of tough is I feel like it could play out in different areas, you know, and it's kind of like whenever you cap a fight like Khabib, it's pretty much the only. I feel like it's not as hard to cap because you're really just wondering like, can Khabib consistently out wrestle him, you know, and can the other guy stop takedowns, and you know, so you kind of have to like look at one scenario. Where with this, it's kind of like I could see it playing out on the feet for a while. I could see like Glover getting top position. I could see Smith getting top position. You know what I mean? I could see like I could see either guy coming with a different game plan. You know, like I don't really know, but what I noticed is on the feet, you know, Glover's done really bad at distance in his last few fights. Like Krylov outlanded him 37-22 at distance. Corey Anderson outlanded him from distance 31-17, and Kudalaba outlanded him 43-16. And even though like Smith doesn't have statistically the best striking ratios like historically, he outlanded Ozdemir 48-45, and he lost to Gustafsson 70-44, but that was mostly like all in one round, and he still like competed decently, you know, in that fight. And so like I don't know, like I think I probably give Smith the edge on the feet, but I guess it's not like a blowout because Smith still is flawed, you know, and can kind of like sometimes he gets like overwhelmed if you come in with pressure and hands and boxing, and that's kind of what Glover does. But I tend to lean Smith there. What do you think about like the striking?
Yeah, depends. Also depends which tempo Smith comes out with.
Yeah,
We've seen Smith do nothing. We've seen Smith Shogun where he just went crazy.
yeah,
Like, if Smith just Shogun Glover, I wouldn't be shocked.
yeah.
But, you know, he just came out like a house on fire, threw 40 strikes in 2 minutes and killed Glover. That wouldn't shock me. But also, if Smith decided to do nothing for 3 rounds, it would also not shock me. Like,
Yeah, that's
there's just
such
a wide range of outcomes here.
And because there's so many wide ranges of outcomes, it's like you have to assign a probability for all those to like then cap the fight. And so like that's why I'm having trouble with it, because I'm like I could totally see the argument of Glover being the side as an underdog. But like if somebody convinced me that Smith should be a favorite, I wouldn't be, you know what I mean? Like I would be like, yeah. But another thing that I saw, and like I'm not betting this fight, but just to at least give some information to like people who are potentially betting Glover. I do think he can land takedowns, you know, but once he's actually there, like something that I found was interesting, and like I don't know, do with what you want with the information. Smith has allowed 20 takedowns like in his career, like Strikeforce, UFC, and everything, and he's only allowed 12 passes, which is pretty good, you know, and those were pretty much all against Cesar Ferreira and Roger Gracie, kind of like earlier in his career. And Caesar only passed 3 times on 6 takedowns. So like if you just kind of look, like each time Smith gets taken down, he generally like retains guard, and he's actually done decent in grappling tournaments lately too. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like the win condition of Glover getting takedowns and getting like a finish, like he might, I don't know if he'll easily sub Smith just because he might not totally pass his guard, you know, and kind of just dominate. But one thing Smith does that's really dumb is he turtles up and gives up his back at times. Like, do you remember he did that against Jones, and he did it against
Yeah.
Osim too? And so, like, even though I think, like, generally, like, as like as like a traditional rule, he's done good at kind of like limiting passes. Glover is good at getting those hooks and flattening you out. So I could see like an opportunity for Glover to at least land some ground and pound and kind of like get a dominant position. Another thing I wanted to point out, and this was like more interesting to me, is even though Smith has only had 4 takedowns in his career, he actually passes guard. He has a ton of passes. Like I think he has 9 passes, so he passes well. And if you watch him, he generally like does well once he gets on top. And this was the craziest stat that I found. And if you kind of watch his fights, you'll see it. Glover has given up 10 takedowns in his last 6 fights and has allowed 18 passes. So I'm just saying, like Glover, if Smith gets on top of him, Glover like is getting his guard pass. Like Glover's a good grappler, especially from top position, but when he's on the mat, he's not as good, you know? So I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was interesting. I think the like on the mat things could get interesting.
Anthony Smith's submission round 4 is 126-1.
See, I like
My body is telling me yes.
the thing is like I
get where you're coming from.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying like I think Smith is going to sub Glover, but his submission, like I just thought it was interesting. His submission line is what,
plus 1400,
and Glover's allowed 17 passes and 10 takedowns and his less. You know what I mean? And this is a 5-round fight where he might gas. So like he could. Just the fact that he allows that many passes and Smith generally passes well if he ever gets on top, like I could see shit happening, you know? So I just wanted to point that out because it's plus 1500. But I just thought that was interesting, like in general, whenever I was looking at that, because I kind of noticed like Krylov and other guys just getting some dominant positions on Glover at times. And then once I kind of looked at the stats, I was like, holy shit, like my eyes were telling me the truth, you know?
Yeah, but also, I mean, in context, like Glover got passed by Davis, Corey Anderson kind of manhandled him once he gassed.
For sure. Agreed. Like, yeah, different type of fighters. I agree.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who else, but yeah, just off the top of my head, those two there. I remember Corey Anderson was kind of just ugly Glover getting kind of just cardioed.
And Corey Anderson's passes are like different. They're like kind of like riding you type of thing. Yeah, like so like you got to contextualize these things, but I think they're at least like interesting to have, and I still think it's valuable to have that information. You just have to know what to do with it.
Yeah, like again, like I think the finish here will probably be very ugly. Sort of Smith just kind of pouring it onto a tight Glover, so picking up a sub in that situation would not be outlandish. I'm taking a small stab at sub round 3, round 4, and round 5 out of old time's sake.
Yeah,
just because like if I hit it again, I'll just be very happy. I do love Anthony Smith. He's a good guy.
Yeah, having said all my irrelevant stats that probably won't come into play here, I expect Glover to win a couple rounds and then Smith to knock him out.
Pretty much end of story, right?
Yeah, pretty much. He'll get tired and bang. Like I like Glover's. I like Glover's top game a lot in their MMA. I've always liked how he's a very sort of clear idea of what he's doing.
Yeah,
A lot
for
of people
sure.
don't
I
necessarily.
like Glover.
He advances. He just keeps pushing them forward, and he has a good idea of what he's going for, what he's doing.
Yeah, like I could see either guy winning. I do think 5 rounds helps Smith because I do think Smith is very tough, you know? So like he'll be hard to put away, so at least he'll have 25 minutes to hurt Glover, you know? So that's like one advantage for Smith that it's a 5-rounder, but like I mean Smith is very flawed too. So like Glover can have success, you know?
Yeah, like this is going to be pretty mean, man. Yeah, I think I lean Glover to win the early rounds because I feel like Glover has a better idea of what he's doing, and like I have a better idea of what Glover will try and do, or Smith can do anything.
Yeah.
Like if Smith decided he just isn't throwing strikes this fight for 3 rounds and then just killed Glover in 30 seconds, I would not be shocked.
Yeah.
If Smith just bum rushed him, I would not be shocked. If Smith they had like a fairly disciplined striking forms like against Gus and most of that, I would not be shocked. Smith does whatever it feels like on the night.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just it's hard to cap this. Like yeah, Glover may be value. I'm just playing submission and submission round 1, just because I feel like submissions are classically pretty front loaded anyway. But also I feel like just the way Glover fights is that we'll know within a round whether he'll get the sub or not.
Yeah.
Because like Glover's just gonna go for the he's gonna take him down, he's gonna pass, he's gonna go for the arm triangle. If he hasn't done it within 1 round, he's probably not gonna do it.
One hilarious thing about Smith too, and it's just like he's just a meme in general, and this makes him even more meme, is like Ozdemir was landing like a takedown on him, and Smith's takedown defense on it looked so atrocious. But then like against John Jones, he like actually defended a few takedowns pretty well. And I'm just like, okay, like can you do this or not? Like why are you making this more difficult for me to figure out? You know?
As Smith just randomly switches on and off areas of his game.
No, it's like yeah.
There's footage of Smith looking terrible at everything. There's footage of Smith looking great at everything.
Smith is pretty much like I think I tweeted this out. Smith is pretty much Anthony Pettis. His like stats are pretty bad, but he's also very tough and has finishing ability. You know, like on the mat and on the feet. So like, he kind of like he gets targeted by like people who pay attention to stats, and he sometimes fucks them because he's like high variance because he has finishing ability and he's durable. You know.
Yeah, but Smith is a. I do like Smith, but he defies explanation. Like
Yeah.
most fighters have consistent trends where they show what they're good at and what they're bad at. Smith
Yeah.
does not do that.
Yeah.
But I wish Smith all the best, and if Smith wins this, good on him. But like, yeah, it's hard to say much with any coherency or confidence.
Yeah, his process is lacking.
Yeah.
Which makes it harder.
But some fights he has process though. Other
Kind of.
fights he does not. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
again, we've seen him apply 4 different processes. We've seen him just scream at people, like just run out screaming. We saw his middleweight "I'll do nothing till round 3 and fuck you" strategy.
Yeah.
And against the Gus, he actually looked like he had process, didn't he? The Gus wasn't doing much, but Smith seemed to actually be working okay.
Yeah, like the funny thing about that fight is like Gustafsson, like going into that fight, like every stat told you like Gustafsson would dominate him, and Gustafsson outlanded him like 72-49 on significant strikes. But it's funny because if you look at like round by round, Smith like outlanded him in a couple rounds. You know, it was really like round 3 where Gustafsson really fucked him up, you know? And then of course Smith comes out round 4 and subs him. Like after his 1 round where he doesn't do well, like the first 2 rounds are pretty competitive. Then he kind of gets fucked up, and then Smith decides to come out and sub Gustafsson. It's like it's just shit show anytime Smith is out there.
Yeah, like I do enjoy watching Smith as a fighter, but it's very hard to bet on him because pick is a favorite because he will just do so much random shit.
Yeah, he's a good guy to bet on as a dog, but not as a favorite. You know, I feel.
Yeah, pretty much. Like because his dog has a chance to randomly surprise you, and like it's just he just has a huge variant. He just is variance, and like he's durable too. He's durable and has good cardio, which also helps.
Yeah.
It's kind of like he's kind of like Marlon Vera in certain ways.
Yeah, it's Vera and Pettis, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It works for him, and like I hope he keeps going on doing what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, it's almost 4 a.m. over here, so I think I'm probably
Good
going to be
about
for bed.
that. For sure.
It's all good.
Cool.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, buddy. Bye.
All good.